Before the House Judiciary Committee, as we speak, Attorney General Barr is testifying. He is testifying both about the Department of Justice decisions in combating these violent riots we have seen across the country that are still ongoing. And so it's quote, a hearing on the oversight of the Department of Justice and, of course, Russiagate. But Attorney General Barr said this in his statements. This is part of the record. Very strong language from the U.S. Attorney General. Ever since I made it clear that I was going to do everything I could to get to the bottom of the grave abuses involved in the bogus Russiagate scandal, many of the Democrats on this committee have attempted to discredit me by conjuring up a narrative that I am simply the president's factotum who disposes of criminal cases according to his instructions. Judging from the letter inviting me to this hearing, that appears to be your agenda today.
The Attorney General turned the tables on him, plain and simple. Obviously, the narrative from Chairman Nadler, not just today, but leading up to the hearing, really for the last couple of years, has been that the Attorney General is nothing but a political pawn in the president's hand. Jordan, he not only refuted that very specifically, but he actually turned the tables and said, look, the importance of keeping political pressure out of the Department of Justice, that is important on both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, not only from the White House, but also from Capitol Hill. And where I have felt the pressure is from Capitol Hill. Jordan, I liked this line in that sort of same section of the prepared remarks that you were reading from. He said, while it may be appropriate here on Capitol Hill or on cable news, that is to engage in political discourse, it is not acceptable at the Department of Department of Justice. At the department, decisions must be made with no regard to political pressure from either end of Pennsylvania Avenue or from the media or the mobs. Jordan, it was his way of saying, I've got to resist pressure from all angles, and the places that I felt it is not where you're saying it. I felt it from the media. I felt it from Capitol Hill. And by the way, that's the mission of many of these mobs on the street as well.
It's just an oversight hearing. But the two main topics are the administration and DOJ and law enforcement response to riots and protection of federal buildings, because right now, like for instance in Portland, there's federal buildings under attack. It's not just protesters. Not peaceful protesters, they're under attack. So you have the left, the Democrats on the committee, siding with the violence, siding with the rioters. That's where they've cast their lot for this election. They think that that's where people want to go. So they're attacking Attorney General Barr for that, and they're still attacking him, which is like unbelievable at this point. After all we just discussed about the fact that the guy who was the main source for the dossier wasn't Russia-based, was based at a U.S. think tank, Brookings Institute. And so the FBI and possibly the DOJ, if they knew as well, lied to the FISA court, and Lindsey Graham has said also lied to Congress. That'd be two separate criminal charges right there, because they said the main source for Christopher Steele was based in Russia. That's in their document, in their applications to FISA, and in testimony to Congress. So that means they lied twice under oath, at least. That's criminal charges. Those are easy criminal charges. My dad is joining us, Jay Sekulow, by phone. And, Dad, we also have had a big victory. We only told people a little bit about it in federal court on FISA, specifically on unmasking. We got through the court. Usually these courts, it's the State Department this time, and Samantha Power, who made the most unmasking request of any of the administration members as ambassador to the UN, which was very bizarre. And she gets listed all the time. State Department tries to respond with what's called a GLOMAR response. We can neither confirm nor deny. And the court said, not this time, because it's already been declassified that she made all the requests because of what Rick Grinnell did as his time as acting DNI.
Well, it was that plus the fact that they said that staff of Samantha Powers were to be treated. This was in the court's opinion, which was really very, very good opinion that Ben Cisney litigated in our Washington office. Her staff constituted her. They were the same as if it was her making these requests. And then, as you mentioned, the idea that they would use this kind of defense where we don't want to give out this information, the judge correctly pointed out that the former acting DNI, Rick Grinnell, already had concluded that this information should be declassified and was released. So what we have is and we've alleged this in the complaint, a continuing pattern and practice of these agencies to try to not give information. And it's what's becoming increasingly clear is that the federal court system is in fact requiring that information to go. You never get everything you want to get in this litigation, but we're getting a lot of information. That information is helpful. And you have to ask yourself, why was the ambassador to the United Nations engaged in unmasking Americans, involved in a presidential campaign? Think about that for a moment, which is exactly what John Durham and Attorney General Barr is addressing, those kind of issues right now. So I think that speaks volumes to the importance of the litigation that we're engaged in and why we're going to continue to pursue these to get answers that the American people deserve.